What if I told you that some of the wealthiest, most successful cultures in human history, ancient China, Imperial Rome, the great trading empires of the Middle East, all shared one quiet practice that modern science is only now beginning to explain? They filled their homes, their temples, and their places of business with specific plants, not randomly, not just for decoration, but deliberately, intentionally, based on thousands of years of accumulated wisdom about how living plants affect the energy, the air, the psychology, and the fortune of the spaces they inhabit. Most people don't know this. But while we've been decorating our homes with plastic plants and artificial flowers, there are living plants that have been used across virtually every prosperous civilization on Earth to attract wealth, invite opportunity, and transform the energy of a home in ways that are only now being validated by environmental psychology, neuroscience, and air quality research. Today, I'm going to show you 20 of them. And what makes this list different from anything you've seen before is that we're going to look at not just the ancient traditions, the Feng Shui, the Vastu Shastra, the folk wisdom of 100 cultures, but the modern science that explains why these traditions weren't superstition. They were observation. Thousands of years of careful human observation about what happens when specific plants enter a space. Stick around, because number 12 on this list has been placed at the entrance of businesses and homes across Asia for over 3,000 years, specifically to attract wealth. And researchers studying stress hormones and cognitive performance have accidentally confirmed exactly why it works. And number 20 is so deeply woven into the prosperity traditions of cultures across 5 continents that its very presence in a home has been associated with financial fortune for millennia. And the neuroscience of color and abundance is now explaining the mechanism behind the myth. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, because every week we bring you the kind of knowledge that connects ancient wisdom with modern understanding and gives you practical tools to transform your life and your home. So let's get into it. Here are 20 powerful plants that attract abundance and prosperity to your home, ranked from remarkable to absolutely transformative. Number 1, jade plant, the money tree of the West. Let's start with the plant that has been called the money plant in more cultures and more languages than almost any other. Jade plant, Crassula ovata, is a succulent with thick, rounded, deep green leaves that resemble small coins, growing on increasingly woody stems over years and decades. In Chinese tradition, it is considered one of the most powerful plants for attracting financial abundance. In South Africa, where it grows natively, it has been placed in homes for prosperity for generations. In Western homes, it's one of the most popular houseplants, often without its owners knowing why it feels so right to have it near the door. The coin-shaped leaves are the visual key. Across multiple independent cultural traditions, plants with round, coin-like leaves have been associated with wealth and abundance. And this association is not arbitrary. Environmental psychology research shows that visual cues in our environment constantly and unconsciously influence our mindset. Surrounding yourself with symbols of abundance, including plants that visually evoke coins and wealth, affects your cognitive orientation toward prosperity in measurable ways. But jade plant does more than look like money. It is one of the hardiest, longest-lived houseplants in existence. A well-cared-for jade plant can live for decades, growing into a substantial, impressive specimen that communicates the energy of something that endures, grows, and accumulates over time. In Feng Shui, a thriving, growing plant represents thriving, growing wealth. A jade plant that lives and grows for 20 years in your home is a physical symbol of the persistence and accumulation that wealth requires. The traditional placement in Chinese and South African practice is near the entrance of the home or business, specifically to greet and attract abundance as it arrives. The southeast corner of a space, which in Feng Shui represents the wealth area, is considered ideal. Care is simple. Jade plant tolerates low water, bright indirect light, and neglect with remarkable grace. A plant that thrives with consistent but minimal care mirrors the kind of financial system that grows steadily without requiring constant crisis management. Think of it as the plant that has been quietly keeping the accounts of every home it enters, growing a little more prosperous with every passing year. Number 2, pothos, the unstoppable abundance vine. Pothos, Epipremnum aureum, is the long, trailing vine with heart-shaped leaves that seems to grow in any condition, in any light, in any environment, without complaint. It cascades from shelves, climbs along walls, fills corners, and keeps growing no matter what. And in the traditions of Feng Shui and Vastu Shastra, the ancient Indian system of spatial harmony, that unstoppable, relentless growth is exactly what makes it so powerful for abundance. In Feng Shui philosophy, living, growing things represent the flow of positive energy, qi, through a space. A plant that grows abundantly, that fills space with vitality and life, invites the same qualities into the lives of the people who live with it. Pothos, which grows faster and more enthusiastically than almost any other common houseplant, is considered one of the strongest plants for filling a stagnant space with vital, prosperous energy. Modern environmental psychology supports the underlying principle. Research consistently shows that living plants in indoor environments reduce stress hormones, improve mood, and increase feelings of vitality and optimism. And optimism is not a luxury when it comes to prosperity. It is a prerequisite. People who feel vital, energized, and optimistic make better decisions, pursue opportunities more actively, and create the conditions for financial success more reliably than people in depleted, stressed states. NASA's Clean Air Study identified pothos as one of the most effective air purifying plants studied, removing formaldehyde, benzene, and other volatile organic compounds from indoor air. Cleaner air means clearer thinking. Clearer thinking means better decisions. Better decisions mean better outcomes. The chain from plant to prosperity is real. It just runs through human psychology and biology rather than magic. Place pothos in areas where you work, plan, and make decisions. Let it trail and grow in your home office, your living room, your kitchen. Let it remind you every day that growth doesn't require perfect conditions. It requires persistence. Think of it as the vine that doesn't know the word impossible, growing toward every available light, filling every available space, teaching you by example what abundance actually looks like. Number 3, lucky bamboo, the ancient prosperity symbol. Lucky bamboo, Dracaena sunderiana, is not actually bamboo at all, but it has been used in Chinese Feng Shui for over 4,000 years as one of the most powerful symbols and attractors of good fortune, wealth, and positive energy. Arrangements of lucky bamboo stalks are given as gifts at business openings, housewarmings, and the Lunar New Year specifically, because they are understood to carry the energy of prosperity into every space they enter. The number of stalks is significant in Chinese tradition. 2 stalks represent love. 3 represent happiness, long life, and wealth. 5 represent the 5 areas of life: emotional, intuitive, mental, physical, and spiritual wealth. 8, the most auspicious number in Chinese culture, because the word for 8 sounds like the word for prosperity, represents abundance and good fortune. 21 represents a powerful general blessing of great wealth and enduring good health. What makes this ancient tradition scientifically interesting is the plant itself. Lucky bamboo is extraordinarily resilient. It grows in water or soil, tolerates low light, handles neglect, and simply keeps growing. In environmental psychology, surrounding yourself with things that are resilient, growing, and alive creates a psychological environment of resilience, growth, and vitality. You become what your environment reflects back to you. The plant also works through its visual vertical line. The upward growing stalks in Feng Shui represent upward movement, rising energy, the direction of growth and aspiration. Having this visual cue in your workspace or home consistently orients the mind toward upward movement rather than stagnation. Care is genuinely simple. Change the water every week, provide indirect light, and the plant maintains itself almost effortlessly. A plant that asks little and gives much is itself a model of the best kind of investment. Think of it as the 4,000-year-old prosperity tool that has outlasted every investment trend, every economic cycle, and every financial philosophy, because it works on the level of human psychology rather than market fluctuation. Number 4, basil, the herb of kings and wealth. The word basil comes from the Greek basilikos, meaning royal. This herb was so valued in the ancient world that only royalty was permitted to harvest it in some traditions. In ancient Rome, basil was associated with wealth and prosperity and was placed in homes to attract abundance. In Italian folk tradition, fresh basil is placed near the door or window to bring good fortune. In Brazilian and Caribbean spiritual traditions, basil is one of the primary herbs used in prosperity and abundance rituals. In Ayurvedic tradition, specifically the sacred form of basil called tulsi, it is considered one of the most spiritually and energetically powerful plants in existence. This cross-cultural convergence on basil as a prosperity plant is remarkable. Independent traditions on multiple continents, separated by oceans and centuries, all arrived at the same conclusion about the same plant. When that many independent observers agree, there is almost always a reason rooted in genuine experience. Modern science gives us several candidates for that reason. Basil contains volatile aromatic compounds, linalool, eugenol, and others, that have documented effects on mood, stress reduction, and cognitive clarity. Inhaling the aroma of fresh basil in your home environment consistently and subtly shifts your psychological state toward calm alertness, exactly the state most associated with good decision-making and productive action. Fresh basil in the kitchen also encourages home cooking, family gathering, and the kind of daily ritual that research associates with well-being and financial discipline. The households that cook together, eat together, and maintain daily rituals are consistently associated in research with better financial outcomes and stronger family bonds. Grow fresh basil in your kitchen in a pot on the windowsill. Use it daily in cooking. Let its aroma fill the room. Let its royal history remind you every day that what you cultivate with care, in your garden and in your life, becomes extraordinary. Think of it as the herb that kings made theirs, and that quietly makes royalty of anyone who grows it with intention. Number 5. Money tree. The braided fortune plant. The money tree, Pachira aquatica, with its distinctive braided trunk and large palmate leaves, is one of the most recognized prosperity plants in the world. The braided trunk, typically 5 or 7 stems woven together, is deliberate. In Chinese tradition, the 5 leaves on each stem represent the 5 elements of Feng Shui, and the braided structure represents the locking in of good fortune, the weaving together of the energies that create wealth. The plant became associated with prosperity in Taiwan in the 1980s, when a truck driver grew several small plants together in a pot and braided their trunks, and is said to have made his fortune selling them. Whether or not the folklore is precisely accurate, the money tree has become one of the most gifted plants in business culture across East and Southeast Asia. New businesses receive money trees. Promotions are celebrated with money trees. Homes are blessed with money trees. The plant has become a living symbol of the intention to attract prosperity. And intention, as behavioral science consistently confirms, is not nothing. It is a cognitive orientation that changes behavior. Research in positive psychology shows that environmental cues that trigger an abundance mindset, visual reminders of prosperity, growth, and success, influence subsequent decision-making and action. A money tree in your home office is a daily visual anchor to your financial intentions. Every time you look at it, you are reminded of what you are working toward. The money tree is also genuinely easy to care for. It tolerates low light, irregular watering, and fluctuating temperatures while maintaining its full, lush appearance. A plant that maintains its abundance and vitality through imperfect conditions is perhaps the best possible metaphor for the financial resilience you are building. Think of it as the plant that was literally invented as a prosperity symbol and has been making that promise good in homes and businesses across the world ever since. Number 6. Rosemary, the herb of remembrance and prosperity. Rosemary, Salvia rosmarinus, has been associated with memory, clarity, and prosperity across European traditions for over 2,000 years. In ancient Greece, students wore rosemary garlands while studying to improve memory and mental performance. In Elizabethan England, rosemary was placed in homes and businesses to attract good fortune and ward off negative energy. In Spanish and Italian folk tradition, a rosemary bush near the front door of a home was considered a sign and a cause of prosperity. The folk belief that a thriving rosemary bush indicates a prosperous household has a real, observable basis. Rosemary requires specific, favorable conditions to truly thrive: good drainage, ample sunlight, and attentive care without overwatering. A household where rosemary thrives at the front door is a household where someone is paying careful, consistent attention to their environment. That attentiveness, that quality of noticing, responding, and caring for living things is precisely the quality that predicts financial success. Modern neuroscience has validated the ancient Greek students' intuition about rosemary. Research published in peer-reviewed journals confirms that the aroma of rosemary, specifically 1,8-cineol, a compound in its volatile oils, measurably improves memory performance and mental clarity. A study found that people working in rosemary-scented rooms performed better on memory tests and reported higher alertness than those in unscented rooms. In your home, fresh rosemary near where you work and plan, in a pot in your home office or kitchen, continuously diffuses those cognitive-enhancing compounds into your air. Better memory, clearer thinking, sharper decision-making. The path from rosemary to prosperity runs directly through the quality of your mind. Think of it as the herb that the ancient world used to sharpen the minds that built empires, and that your home office has been waiting for. Number 7. Peace. Lily, the purifier of fortune. Peace lily, Spathiphyllum species, is one of the most elegant flowering houseplants available. Its deep green leaves and white spathy flowers have a serene, refined beauty that communicates calm prosperity rather than flashy abundance. And in Feng Shui, the peace lily is considered one of the most powerful plants for clearing negative energy from a space, removing the energetic blocks that prevent prosperity from flowing in. This concept of energetic clearing maps directly onto what environmental psychology and indoor air quality research tell us about how environments affect human performance. A space filled with stagnant, poor quality air, with low light, with clutter and visual chaos, suppresses cognitive function, increases stress hormones, and puts people in a reactive rather than creative mental state. Clearing that space, improving air quality, introducing living plants, creating calm visual order, removes real measurable blocks to human performance. NASA's Clean Air Study ranked peace lily among the top plants for removing indoor air pollutants, including ammonia, benzene, formaldehyde, and trichloroethylene. In homes and offices with poor ventilation, these compounds accumulate from furniture, cleaning products, and building materials, and measurably impair cognitive function and mood. A peace lily in your living or working space is continuously removing those compounds and replacing them with cleaner, fresher air. There is also a psychological dimension to the peace lily's white flowers. White in virtually every cultural tradition represents clarity, purity, and new beginnings, the energetic conditions from which prosperity most naturally grows. A space that feels clean, clear, and serene is a space where the mind can plan, create, and execute with precision. Place peace lily in areas that feel heavy, stagnant, or stuck. Rooms where energy feels blocked, where you feel tired and uninspired. Let it do its work, both chemically and psychologically. Think of it as the silent janitor of your spiritual and atmospheric environment, removing everything that stands between you and the clarity that prosperity requires. Number 8, aloe vera, the luck and protection plant. Aloe vera has been associated with luck, protection, and positive energy in household traditions across Africa, the Caribbean, Latin America, and the Middle East for centuries. In many African and Afro-Caribbean traditions, aloe is hung above doorways or placed at entrances to protect the home from negative energy and bad luck. In some Latin American folk traditions, Aloe plants placed strategically around the home attract good fortune and repel envy. The social force that traditional cultures identified as one of the most significant threats to prosperity. The protection associations make intuitive sense when you understand what aloe actually does. It is one of the most practically useful plants in existence. A medicine plant, a skin healer, a first aid tool. A home that has aloe is a home that has a resource available for any emergency, any small crisis, any moment of need. That availability, that preparedness, is itself a form of prosperity. The household that is prepared for small adversities handles them without cost, without disruption, without the financial bleeding that small emergencies cause when you are unprepared. Aloe vera is also extraordinarily resilient. It stores water in its thick leaves and can survive weeks of complete neglect, drought, and irregular care. A plant that survives adversity and comes back stronger is a profound symbol for anyone building wealth through difficult times. In Feng Shui, plants that demonstrate resilience and persistence are particularly powerful in the home environment because they model exactly the qualities that financial success requires. The practical care is almost effortless. Bright, indirect light, minimal watering, and the plant maintains itself indefinitely. Keep one in your kitchen for burns and skin irritations. Keep one in your bedroom for its air purifying properties. Keep one near your entrance for protection and luck. Think of it as the plant that has been protecting and providing for households across 5 continents simultaneously, asking almost nothing in return, which is itself the definition of a perfect investment. Number 9, citrus trees, the golden fruit of fortune. Citrus trees, oranges, lemons, kumquats, and mandarins have been associated with wealth, prosperity, and good fortune across Asian cultures for thousands of years. In Chinese culture, the orange is one of the most powerful symbols of abundance. The word for orange in Cantonese sounds like the word for gold, and the round golden fruit is visually and linguistically associated with coins and wealth. Miniature citrus trees, particularly kumquats laden with golden fruit, are placed in homes and businesses during the Lunar New Year to attract financial abundance for the coming year. The color symbolism of citrus is validated by modern color psychology. Research shows that yellow and gold visual cues in the environment trigger associations with energy, optimism, and abundance. Surrounding yourself with gold-colored fruit in a living, growing form creates a persistent visual environment of abundance that subtly but measurably influences mindset. Beyond symbolism, indoor citrus trees genuinely transform the atmosphere of a home. The fragrance of citrus blossoms is one of the most mood-elevating aromas in nature. Research confirms citrus scents reduce anxiety, increase energy, and improve mood more reliably than almost any other natural fragrance. A home that smells of orange blossoms is a home where people feel better. People who feel better make better decisions. Better decisions build wealth. Growing citrus indoors requires more attention than most houseplants. They need ample direct sunlight, consistent watering, regular fertilization, and appropriate humidity. But the care they require is itself part of the teaching. Wealth rarely comes to those who want it without effort. It comes to those who are willing to provide what is needed, consistently, over time, and watch something grow from that investment. Think of it as the golden tree that Chinese merchants have kept in their shops for 3,000 years. Not because they were superstitious, but because they understood that surrounding yourself with symbols and realities of abundance changes how you think, how you act, and ultimately, what you attract. Number 10. Snake plant. The protective wealth guardian. Snake plant, Dracaena trifasciata, formerly Sansevieria, is one of the most architecturally striking houseplants in existence. Its tall, upright, sword-shaped leaves with their distinctive banding pattern create a strong, vertical visual statement that in Feng Shui represents the energy of wood, the element associated with growth, vitality, and upward movement toward prosperity. In Feng Shui, the snake plant is considered particularly powerful when placed near the entrance of a home or business because its upright, pointed leaves are understood to cut through and dispel negative energy before it can enter the space. This protective quality is considered a prerequisite for prosperity. You cannot build abundance in a space continuously drained by negative energy, whether that energy is understood spiritually or in terms of psychological stress, social toxicity, or environmental depletion. Modern research makes a compelling case for snake plant as a genuine well-being enhancer. NASA's Clean Air study confirmed its effectiveness at removing formaldehyde, benzene, trichloroethylene, and xylene from indoor air. Unlike most plants, snake plant continues releasing oxygen and performing gas exchange at night, making it particularly valuable in bedrooms where air quality during sleep directly affects cognitive restoration and morning mental performance. The quality of your sleep determines the quality of your thinking. The quality of your thinking determines the quality of your decisions. The quality of your decisions determines the quality of your financial life. The chain from snake plant to prosperity runs directly through the most important cognitive restoration process you undertake every day. Snake plant is also the most tolerant of all common houseplants. It survives low light, irregular watering, neglect, and almost any indoor condition while maintaining its impressive, vital appearance. Think of it as the guardian at the gate of your prosperity, standing upright, taking nothing from you, purifying everything around it, and demanding only the minimum necessary to keep standing watch. Now, if you're starting to feel the possibility here, if you're realizing that the plants in your home are not neutral decorations but active participants in the energy, air quality, and psychology of your daily life, please hit that like button right now. It helps this video reach other people who are ready to transform their spaces. Subscribe if you haven't already, ring the bell, and let's keep going. Because the next 10 are the ones that will truly change your home. Number 11. Mint. The magnetic money herb. Mint, mentha species, has been associated with prosperity and financial attraction in folk traditions across Europe, North America, and the Caribbean for centuries. In American folk magic and hoodoo tradition, mint is one of the primary herbs used in money-drawing practices, carried in wallets, placed in cash registers, and grown near the home specifically to attract financial flow. In European folk tradition, keeping mint in the home was believed to ensure that money never ran out. The association is ancient, widespread, and remarkably consistent. The mechanism behind this tradition may lie in mint's most powerful characteristic: its overwhelming, inescapable, space-filling fragrance. Peppermint and spearmint aromas have some of the most documented effects on human psychology of any plant scent. Research published in peer-reviewed journals shows that peppermint aroma increases alertness and energy, improves cognitive performance and focus, reduces fatigue, and, critically, increases physical performance and motivation. These are exactly the psychological qualities that generate productive action, and productive action is the most reliable path to financial prosperity. A home that smells of fresh mint is a home where people are alert, energized, and motivated. These are not small things. The difference between a household where people consistently take motivated, focused action and one where they consistently feel depleted and unfocused is, over years and decades, the difference between financial security and financial struggle. Mint is also wonderfully easy to grow. In fact, famously difficult to contain, spreading aggressively once established. There is something deeply appropriate about a prosperity herb that can't be stopped once it takes root. Grow it in a pot in your kitchen or near a sunny window. Use it in cooking, in teas, in water. Let its fragrance fill the room. Think of it as the herb that carries the energy of money, abundant, flowing, always finding new channels, impossible to stop once it starts moving. Number 12, bamboo, the prosperity pillar of Asia. And this is the one I teased at the beginning. Real bamboo, not lucky bamboo, but true. Bambusoideae species, grown outdoors or in large containers, has been one of the most powerful prosperity symbols in Asian culture for over 3,000 years. In Chinese, Japanese, Korean, and Vietnamese traditions, bamboo represents strength, flexibility, integrity, and enduring prosperity. It is planted at the entrance of homes and businesses, in the gardens of temples and palaces, and given as gifts to mark the beginning of new ventures. The reason bamboo has been associated with prosperity for so long is rooted in direct observation of its remarkable properties. Bamboo is the fastest growing plant on Earth. Certain species grow nearly a meter per day. It bends dramatically in storms without breaking. It returns to perfect vertical alignment after any pressure. It survives fire, drought, and flood. It is simultaneously the most flexible and most durable natural material in existence, used in construction, food, medicine, and craft across Asian civilizations for millennia. A plant that embodies those qualities, rapid growth, resilience under pressure, perfect recovery, enduring strength, is a plant that any culture building wealth would want near them. The qualities of bamboo are the qualities of successful wealth building. Grow fast when conditions allow, bend without breaking when they don't, and always return to your upright trajectory. Environmental psychology research on workplace environments has confirmed that exposure to natural elements, particularly plants with strong, structured vertical growth patterns, reduces cortisol levels, improves mood, and increases the sense of personal efficacy and capability. The stress reduction that bamboo provides through its visual presence and the sense of strength it communicates creates real, measurable improvements in the psychological state that generates productive action. For outdoor gardens in appropriate climates, bamboo planted at the eastern or southeastern boundary of a property is considered particularly powerful in Feng Shui for activating prosperity energy. Contain running bamboo varieties with root barriers to prevent invasive spread. Think of it as the plant that has been standing guard over Asian prosperity for 3,000 years, and teaching by example that the most successful growth bends with every storm and rises again every time. Number 13, lavender, the calm that creates wealth. Lavender, Lavandula species, has been associated with prosperity, calm, and the creation of favorable conditions for wealth across European traditions for centuries. In Provence, where the lavender fields are legendary, the lavender harvest was historically one of the most important economic events of the year. In English folk tradition, sachets of dried lavender were placed in money and among valuables both to protect them and to ensure their increase. The association of lavender with prosperity may seem counterintuitive. It is primarily known as a calming, relaxing herb rather than an activating one. But the link between calm and wealth creation is deeper than it first appears. Research in behavioral economics consistently shows that financial decision-making is most reliable and most profitable when made from a state of calm clarity rather than stress or anxiety. Stress impairs prefrontal cortex function, the part of your brain responsible for planning, delayed gratification, and long-term decision-making. These are the exact functions required for wealth building. A home environment that maintains baseline calm through the continuous low-level presence of lavender aroma is a home where better financial decisions get made every day. Not because lavender is magic, but because the brain that operates in calm makes better choices than the brain that operates in chronic stress. Clinical research confirms that lavender's active compound linalool measurably reduces anxiety, lowers cortisol, improves sleep quality, and enhances overall mood. The households where lavender grows, indoors in pots, outdoors in borders, dried in sachets throughout the home, are households where the nervous system of every person living there is consistently, gently supported toward its optimal state. Grow lavender in your garden borders, in pots near your bedroom window, in containers on your porch. Dry it and keep it throughout your home. Let the fragrance do its slow, quiet work on the stress levels of everyone who lives there. Think of it as the purple field that built the economy of an entire region of France. And that starts building something quieter but equally real in every home it enters. Number 14, holy basil/tulsi, the sacred prosperity plant. Tulsi, Ocimum tenuiflorum, sacred or holy basil, holds a unique position in the prosperity plant traditions of the world. In Hindu tradition, Tulsi is considered the most sacred plant in existence, the earthly manifestation of the goddess Lakshmi, the deity of wealth, fortune, and prosperity. Virtually every Hindu household maintains a Tulsi plant, tended daily with reverence, placed in a specific position in the home or courtyard, and understood to be the living embodiment of divine blessing, including financial blessing. This is not a casual superstition. It is a thousands of years old practice maintained by over 1 billion people, representing one of the longest running, most consistent observations of any plant's effect on household well-being in human history. When a tradition this persistent and this widespread exists, the appropriate scientific response is curiosity, not dismissal. Modern research on Tulsi is genuinely impressive. Multiple studies confirm adaptogenic properties, meaning Tulsi helps the body and mind adapt to stress, reducing the physiological impact of both physical and psychological stressors. Research shows Tulsi lowers cortisol, improves immune function, reduces anxiety and depression symptoms, and supports cognitive clarity. Its aromatic compounds, eugenol, rosmarinic acid, and others, have measurable effects on mood and mental function. A household where a Tulsi plant is tended daily, watered, turned toward the light, cared for with attention, is a household that practices a daily ritual of mindfulness and intention. Research in behavioral psychology consistently shows that daily rituals oriented around positive intentions change patterns of thought and action in ways that produce better outcomes over time. The Tulsi plant is not just a plant. It is a daily practice in the form of a living thing. Grow Tulsi in a place of honor in your home, in a bright window, in your kitchen garden, on a dedicated shelf where it receives daily care and attention. Treat it as the sacred thing that 1 billion people have understood it to be. Think of it as the plant that Lakshmi chose as her earthly home, and consider what it means to invite that energy deliberately into yours. Number 15, Golden Pothos, the Wealth Corner Activator. Golden Pothos, the variety of Epipremnum aureum with bright yellow-green variegated leaves, is distinct from regular pothos in its Feng Shui application, specifically because of its color. The golden yellow coloration of the leaves is directly associated with gold, wealth, and the metal element in Chinese Feng Shui, making golden pothos one of the most specifically recommended plants for placement in the wealth corner of a home. In Feng Shui, the southeast corner of any room or home is the wealth gua, the area energetically associated with financial abundance and prosperity. Placing a living, growing, vital plant in this area is considered one of the most direct ways to activate and strengthen the wealth energy of a space. And golden pothos, with its golden coloring and its relentless, enthusiastic growth, is considered ideal for this purpose. Beyond the Feng Shui application, the golden coloring of the leaves has real psychological effects. Color psychology research confirms that yellow and gold tones in environments increase feelings of optimism, energy, and possibility. An environment that makes you feel optimistic and energized is an environment where you are more likely to take the actions that build wealth. Initiating, pursuing, following through, persisting. Golden pothos is also one of the easiest plants to grow and one of the most generous with its growth. From a single cutting, you can propagate dozens of plants. From a single pot, you can eventually fill an entire room. This generative abundance, the way golden pothos multiplies and spreads its gold-touched vitality, is itself a visual daily teaching about the nature of wealth. It grows, it multiplies, it spreads when given the right conditions and consistent attention. Place golden pothos in the southeast corner of your home, your bedroom, your home office. Let it trail and grow, propagate it, and give cuttings to people you want to see prosper. Think of it as the gold that grows on vines, cascading abundance that multiplies itself and asks only that you let it grow. Number 16, chrysanthemum, the emperor's flower of fortune. The chrysanthemum has been the imperial flower of China and Japan for over 2,000 years. In China, it is one of the 4 gentlemen, the 4 plants that represent the highest virtues and the most auspicious qualities. In Japan, the chrysanthemum is the symbol of the imperial family and appears on the imperial seal. Across East Asia, Chrysanthemums are associated with longevity, good fortune, and the kind of refined prosperity that comes with wisdom and perseverance. The chrysanthemum blooms in autumn, after most other flowers have finished, which gives it its associations with longevity and the ability to prosper even in difficult conditions. A flower that blooms when others have given up represents exactly the kind of persistence that produces lasting wealth rather than short-term fortune. Modern research on chrysanthemums adds another layer of significance. NASA's Clean Air study included chrysanthemum among the most effective air-purifying plants studied. The plant removes benzene, one of the most common indoor air pollutants released by plastics, detergents, and paints, from indoor air with particular effectiveness. Clean indoor air, as we've seen throughout this list, directly supports the cognitive and physical performance that generates productive, wealth-building action. Chrysanthemums also have genuine medicinal properties. Chrysanthemum tea has been used in Chinese medicine for centuries for eye health, liver support, and reducing inflammatory conditions, and modern research supports several of these traditional uses. Grow chrysanthemums in your garden for autumn color and their air-purifying benefits when brought indoors. Keep potted chrysanthemums in your living spaces during their blooming season. Let them remind you of the imperial wisdom that recognized in their late-season persistence the qualities of true, enduring prosperity. Think of it as the emperor's flower that chose to bloom when everything else had stopped, and built an empire of associations with that single, powerful choice. Number 17. Peppercorn/pepper plant. The ancient currency. Black pepper, Piper nigrum, was literally currency for much of human history. In medieval Europe, peppercorns were used to pay rent, dowries, and taxes. The spice trade that brought pepper from Asia to Europe was one of the primary economic forces that drove the age of exploration. Columbus was looking for a faster route to pepper when he accidentally found the Americas. Pepper was called black gold and was stored in vaults alongside actual gold and silver. Growing a pepper plant, a climbing vine with glossy leaves and clusters of developing peppercorns, in your home connects you physically to one of the most economically significant plants in human history. There is something deeply appropriate about growing what was once the world's reserve currency in your own space. The energy of pepper is the energy of trade, of value, of things that are recognized as precious across cultures and centuries. Beyond its symbolic power, pepper has genuine physiological effects that support prosperity-building behavior. Piperine, the active compound in black pepper, has been studied for its ability to increase the bioavailability of other nutrients, meaning it makes the food and supplements you consume more effectively absorbed and utilized. It also has cognitive enhancing effects. Animal studies suggest piperine improves memory and cognitive function by increasing serotonin and dopamine levels in the brain. Growing a pepper plant indoors requires warmth, humidity, and support for the climbing vine, making it more of a commitment than most houseplants. But that commitment is appropriate for a plant with this history. Think of it as the vine that changed the map of the world, that sent ships to discover continents in its name, and consider what it means to grow that energy in your own home. Number 18. Orchid. The refinement of wealth. Orchids, Orchidaceae family, have been associated with refinement, luxury, and the highest forms of prosperity across Chinese, Japanese, Greek, and Victorian English cultures. In Chinese tradition, orchids represent one of the four gentlemen alongside chrysanthemum, bamboo, and plum. The four plants that embody the virtues of the superior person. The orchid specifically represents integrity, refinement, and the kind of cultivated excellence that characterizes people of high achievement. The Victorian orchid craze, called orchidilarium, drove wealthy collectors in England to spend fortunes on rare specimens and fund expeditions to exotic locations to discover new varieties. Orchids became the ultimate symbol of cultivated wealth. Not raw abundance, but refined, deliberate, exquisitely developed prosperity. The kind of wealth that results from taste, knowledge, and patient cultivation, rather than luck or impulse. In Feng Shui, orchids are considered particularly powerful for attracting the kind of prosperity that comes with relationship and opportunity. The wealth that flows from connection, from being known and respected, from the social capital that opens doors. Orchids placed in the living room or the partnership area of a home are associated with attracting the relationships and opportunities that create abundance. Modern psychological research on luxury environments shows that living in spaces that contain genuinely beautiful, refined, well-cared-for objects changes your self-perception and your behavior. People who surround themselves with beauty, including the extreme beauty of a well-grown orchid, act with more confidence, more care, and more precision. These are qualities that produce better outcomes. A well-grown orchid is also a daily reminder that the most beautiful things require specific conditions, patient attention, and the willingness to learn what a living thing needs. That relationship between care and flowering is one of the most important teachings prosperity can offer. Think of it as the flower that built empires of desire, and that still transforms the quality of every space it enters with the simple fact of its extraordinary beauty. Number 19, lemon balm, the joy that invites fortune. Lemon balm, Melissa officinalis, has been associated with happiness, joy, and good fortune across European traditions for over 2,000 years. The Greek physician Dioscorides described it as a plant that drives away sadness. Medieval herbalists called it the gladdening herb. In Swiss alpine tradition, lemon balm planted near the home was considered a sign that bees would come. And bees, as pollinators and honey producers, were among the most valued animals in traditional agricultural prosperity. The connection between lemon balm, joy, and prosperity is more than poetic. Research in positive psychology has firmly established that positive emotional states, joy, happiness, enthusiasm, are not just the result of financial success. They are a cause of it. People in positive emotional states are measurably more creative, more socially connected, more persistent in the face of obstacles, and more likely to notice and act on opportunities. Joy is not a luxury that prosperity buys you. It is a cognitive and behavioral resource that prosperity requires. Clinical studies confirm lemon balm's mood-enhancing effects. Research shows that lemon balm extract significantly reduces anxiety and improves mood in stressed adults. A study found that daily lemon balm supplementation increased calmness and reduced negative mood states measurably over a short period. The rosmarinic acid in lemon balm inhibits the breakdown of GABA, the calming neurotransmitter, producing a gentle, sustainable mood elevation without sedation. A home filled with the fragrance of fresh lemon balm from plants growing on windowsills, in kitchen herb gardens, on patios, is a home where the baseline emotional state of everyone inside is gently, consistently lifted. And lifted emotional states make lifted lives. Think of it as the herb that medieval physicians prescribed for sadness and that behavioral scientists now confirm was prescribing for success, because the two are more connected than anyone knew. Number 20, sunflower, the solar abundance machine. And here we are at number 20. The plant I saved for last. The one that is so universally, so cross-culturally, so deeply associated with abundance and prosperity that it has become one of the most recognizable symbols in human art and decoration across 5,000 years of human history. The sunflower. Helianthus annuus, the sunflower, has been cultivated for food, medicine, and spiritual significance by Native American cultures for thousands of years. The Aztecs associated it with their sun deity and used it in religious ceremonies seeking divine abundance. The Incas carried golden sunflower images in their sun temples. In Chinese culture, sunflowers are among the most powerful plants for attracting positive energy, long life, and financial luck, particularly as gifts at business openings and the start of new ventures. In European folk tradition, sunflowers growing in the garden were associated with good luck and an abundant harvest. The science behind the sunflower's prosperity associations is rooted in something fundamental: its relationship with light. The sunflower literally tracks the sun, a behavior called heliotropism, turning its face to follow the source of energy across the sky. Young sunflowers spend their days following the light and their nights resetting, moving back to face east for the morning sun. This tireless, active orientation toward the source of energy is a behavioral model for every person who wants to build prosperity. The seeds of the sunflower are nutritionally extraordinary, packed with vitamin E, magnesium, selenium, and healthy fats that support brain function, heart health, and overall vitality. A plant that produces this quality of nutritional abundance in such generous quantities represents, in physical form, exactly what it symbolizes: generous, renewable, life-sustaining prosperity. Sunflowers grown in your garden transform the space. Their height, often well over 2 meters, their extraordinary faces, their constant turning toward the light, and their eventual offering of thousands of seeds to birds, animals, and people create a center of generous abundance that everyone who sees them feels. Neuroscience and color psychology confirm what 5,000 years of human culture already knew. The yellow gold of sunflowers activates the brain's reward and optimism systems. Looking at sunflowers, their color, their size, their solar vitality produces measurable changes in mood and energy that orient the mind toward abundance and possibility. And orientation toward abundance and possibility is, ultimately, the starting point of all prosperity. Here's what makes the sunflower the perfect ending to this list. It doesn't just attract prosperity through symbolism or fragrance or air purification. It embodies prosperity. It is abundance made visible, generous, towering, golden, tireless in its pursuit of light, and lavish in its offering of seeds. A garden with sunflowers is a garden that has decided at the deepest possible level to face the light. Think of it as the plant that has been pointing toward the source of all abundance since the beginning, standing taller than everything around it, turning its face to follow the energy, and offering everything it produces to whoever is willing to receive it. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, you've just done something important. You've started to see your home differently, not as a static space filled with furniture and objects, but as a living environment that either supports or suppresses your potential for abundance, depending on what you choose to put in it. Every plant on this list connects to thousands of years of human observation about what happens when living, growing, aromatic, air-purifying things share our spaces. And modern science, environmental psychology, neuroscience, air quality research, color psychology, positive psychology, is systematically confirming what those ancient observers knew. You don't need all 20. You need a few placed with intention, cared for with consistency, and understood for what they truly are. Living investments in the energy of your home and the clarity of your mind. So here's what I want you to do. Smash that like button if this video gave you a new way of seeing your home and the plants in it. Drop a comment below and tell me which plant you're adding to your space first. Are you Team Jade and Bamboo, Team Herbs and Fragrance, or Team Sunflowers and Golden Pothos? I read every comment, and I genuinely love hearing from this community. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. Every week, we bring you the knowledge that connects ancient wisdom with modern science and gives you practical tools to transform your life. And I would love to have you on this journey. Your home is already waiting. The plants are already growing. The only question is which ones you choose to invite in. I'll see you in the next one.